Hi, I'm Robby Swift. I'm going to show you how to rig your new NeilPryde wave sail. First of all, it's always good to find a grassy area or a sandy area, somewhere where there's no sharp objects that you might break your sail with when you're rolling the sail out. First you undo the little toggle and then roll the sail out all the way. And you take your mast, these two-piece masts, obviously you've got to make sure that they're very clean, no sand in here before you put them together. And then push it and make sure it's all the way together, and you're going to check that again just before you put the final downhaul tension. We always recommend to use NeilPryde mast. The sails are designed around the curve of the NeilPryde mast, so it's definitely recommendable to use them over any other mast. You push the mast up into the sail. It's quite open here, so it should be easy to push it in from the bottom, and you can hold on to this little strap. But don't force it all the way into the top. Once it gets hard, you should come to the middle and then pull the sail up like that from the middle. Pull it all the way to the bottom, and then you should walk to the top of the sail here and put your finger in. And like this one at the moment, the little button is not quite in all the way, so you put your finger in and make sure that the cap's all the way into the top. If you pull the downhaul when that's not in the top properly, you can sometimes break the thing out of the top of the sail and it can break your sail, so make sure you do that every time. Next you take the extension. All the settings are written on the bottom of the sail. It says mast, that's the size of mast that you should use. Base is the length of the base. Boom is the total length of the boom, and luff is the length of the mast with the extension when you've pulled the downhaul on. This one goes on 16, so put it on 16. Then you can fold the tack fairing up like that and have easy access to the pulleys. And you start threading the rope from outside to inside and then down through the cleat. You can pull some tension on, then just go up to the middle of the sail before you pull the final tension, and check here there's a little arrow that says mast joint, and you just rub your finger over that area and make sure that the mast's all the way together. We recommend sitting down to pull the downhaul tension on. You can make a bowline or something like that, and then you can use your hand or you can use a harness line. The wave sails don't require that much tension, so you should be able to pull it with your hands. Once you've pulled the downhaul on, you can undo your knot, and then you can just fold the rope up nice and neatly like this, and you can put it inside the little net. Fold the tack fairing down, and that part's ready. Next you take the boom. It's easy to get the mast here when you've got the downhaul on. Open it up. Make sure if you're using a skinny mast that you have the little adapter in here. If you're using a regular diameter mast, you can take that adapter out. Put the tongue under there, loop the rope around, close the boom. You need to make sure there's no sand in here when you're going to close the boom, and also tighten with this rope, but don't tighten it so much that you really have to force it like that. It wants to be tight, but you don't want to overly tighten the boom. And then down at this end, all the NeilPryde booms have a very easy loop go system. You just push the loop down through, loop the rope over the little stainless steel tongue, and then pull the outhaul tension on. The last bit of rigging the sail is the batten tension. When you get a new sail, probably it needs more tension. You just undo the back cam like this, give a couple of twists on the screw, and then push the tension down. And on the wave sails, you don't want to overly tension the battens, but you do want to make sure you get all the wrinkles out of the bottom ones, and this one mostly. And the top one, it's okay to have a couple of wrinkles. It's better to have a little bit too less batten tension than to have too much. If you put too much tension on, you can make the batten fold the other way, and it pushes the shape out of the sail, and you don't want that because that makes the sail flap around in the top and not release the wind properly. So for the tuning of the sail, the most important setting is the downhaul. Obviously, like I said before, it's better to use a NeilPryde mast because the curve is correct for the sails. There's a new visual trim system on all the NeilPryde sails this year that has a minimum and a maximum dot, and you want to pull the downhaul tension to roughly between the minimum and the maximum dot. You can play around yourself between those settings to see which amount of downhaul you like best, but don't go outside of those settings. The feeling when the sail's got too much downhaul is that the top flaps around a lot and it doesn't have much power. It's hard to get going. And the feeling when the sail has too little downhaul is that you have a lot of power but the sail feels heavy, and it might be hard to get planing and keep the nose of the board stuck down into the water. And then for the outhaul, I normally play with the outhaul as my main setting for adjusting the power of the sail. I always tell people that I like to pull the outhaul so that you can push quite hard on the sail and you can just touch the boom here. And when you're sailing, I like to see the sail touching the boom just right here every now and then. I don't like to see it touching all the way to the harness lines, and I don't like to see it never touching at all. I'd like to have it just the right amount of fullness, where when you're going over the chops and in the big gusts, just this little part of the sail here touches the boom. Obviously, if it's really light, you can let some outhaul off and have it touch the boom all the way. And if it's really, really windy, you can pull more. But as a rough guide, that's probably the best place to put the outhaul. The boom height is the final setting for adjusting the trim on your sail. We always kind of say around about shoulder height is the best. Personally, I like the boom quite low. I maybe have it even, around my chest height, especially for wave riding when the conditions are offshore. I feel like it gives me a bit more control. But then when it's light and the wind is onshore and I want to get planing quicker, I sometimes put the boom up a little bit more, to shoulder height or even a little bit above, and that just helps to get the board planing lifted up out of the water a little bit more. So this is the range of the NeilPryde wave sails. We've got the Fusion here, which is pretty much a free ride sail. We'd normally talk about the other three, the Atlas, the Combat and the Fly, as the main wave sails, but the Fusion is a bump and jump kind of onshore sail, a little bit more powerful, a little bit less maneuverable than the Atlas. And then the Atlas is really our 5-batten onshore proper wave sail. For the heavier guy, it's also usable in sideshore conditions and down the line. And then we go to the Combat, which is really our all-round #1 sailing wave sail. That sail you can use in onshore, sideshore, side-off. It's a very light, maneuverable sail, but it's still got the power and stability that you need for jumping. And then we've got the Fly, which is a lot more stable than before, but it's still aimed at our down-the-line wave market. It's really a very, very light 3-batten, extremely maneuverable sail that releases the power extremely well when you're wave riding. But it's still definitely stable enough to do jumps with, and a very good sail, especially for the lighter weight sailor. The Fly just comes in one construction. That's the most durable construction we have. The Combat comes in HD, as you can see here. That's got the X-ply windows. It also comes in the monofilm version, like the Atlas that you see here. And the Atlas, you can also get it in HD Fusion as well. You can choose which construction you want depending on your need for durability. With the 5-batten sails, you'll want to put a little bit more tension on the downhaul. You've got the visual trim system on all the sails, so that's going to be a good guide. But then as you go to the 4-batten sail and the 3-batten Fly, you'll notice that you have to pull less downhaul on those sails. But like I said, you use the visual trim system and you'll get the downhaul spot on every time.